I want to welcome, as we always do, our friends from NACFE. We've been having this ongoing conversation. It is a really important one. Jeff Seger joins us this morning. We are thrilled to have him. He's the clean energy consultant. He's taken the lead on the natural gas fleets in Roll on Less, and we're thrilled to have him here. He's been embedded with UPS. I couldn't think of a better gig to have. Those people are quality, top notch. We have a neighbor, by the way, in California who we were invited to a party, by the way, Jeff, was the day that he had been with them over 10 years, and he had finally gotten out of the warehouse and gotten a route, and it was a big party. So I know how great those folks are. Welcome to the show, Jeff. How you doing?
I am well, Jimmy. Good morning to you, and thanks for having us on the show today.
Let's one more time with feeling to kind of explain in a 30,000 foot view the roll on less. Talk about that for a quick second,
Yep,
and then talk about your particular involvement in the, as the Cajuns would say, situation.
exactly. So NACFE's been running this run on less for I think ever since 2017. We do it every couple of years. It's kind of the best of the best. We started out by looking at about 10 different fleets and comparing mile per gallon, trying to see which fleets got the best mile per gallon on diesels. And then we worked our way into battery electric vehicles. 2 years ago, we did one on battery electric vehicle depots where we looked at the charging, the fleet's charging stations and things like that. This year, we're doing run on less messy middle. Excuse me. And if you're familiar with messy middle, it's just so many different options between now and the time where we want to be fully zero emission vehicle. So we're looking at four different alternative powertrains, one being just base diesel, which has biodiesel and renewable diesel in it. Another one is battery electric vehicles. Another one is hydrogen fuel cells. And then, as you mentioned, I'm leading the charge for the natural gas. And we've actually visited three different fleets. Back in early August, I talked about Wegmans. Today, I'll talk about UPS. We went out there, I think it was in the middle of June, and it was just a great day, and it was really neat to see their operation. So that's kind of the overview. I would encourage everybody to go to the site, www.runonless.com. And in there, you'll be able to see profiles on all these different fleets. You'll be able to see videos. Come September 8th, we'll talk about that, but you'll be able to see dashboards, how the different vehicles are comparing. We did a lot of work on the boot camp, so we do little webinars describing, some of the aspects of these different powertrains. So it's really good thing that we have going on, and I'm quite excited. The whole team is excited.
And by the way, guys, just to kind of give you all a heads up, when you go to runonless.com, those profiles, that is so well laid out. I got to tell you, I was laughing about it because, Dave and I talk about the presentation of content. You could literally do a full hour of a show, a coherent show, if in fact you could read cold copy and just simply, process that through because that whole site is laid out impeccably in regards to being able to see these profiles, both the overview and then the deep dive as well. Speaking of deep dives, let's talk about UPS and your experience with them.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, we went out there in the middle of June, and we're going to be monitoring a Kenworth T680 vehicle. But let me first kind of just tell you a little bit about the UPS site. And I'm kind of a mountain guy. I love hiking in the mountains, and this was the first time I had been to Salt Lake City. And it was really a pleasure flying in. It's just nothing more beautiful than, seeing a sunrise or a sunset on a nice clear day in those mountains. And so just beautiful flying in. But, it's really kind of interesting in that Salt Lake City is surrounded by mountains. And while it's beautiful, that can also trap emissions. And the UPS folks told us, I think they were really kind of strategic and visionary. And whenever they set this site up, they said, hey, let's see if we can improve the environment and make it better. And so they have an initiative to get as much natural gas vehicles at that site as possible. And today, I think they're about 65% natural gas. I'll say more about some of the routes and the fueling and stuff like that. But they have a goal to get to 100%. And by working with the fuel provider, I think they'll be able to get there. And that'll be really cool. One last thing about the site, and then we can open, up for more discussions and or questions and different angles of this conversation. But that site is just impressive. It's been there for 7 years. we walked through the facility, and it's just conveyor belt after conveyor belt, and they have all the packages coming, and I think they have something like 400 different bays for package delivery trucks to come, and they just drive right up, and a little conveyor belt brings the packages to the truck, and then somebody lifts or moves the packages from the conveyor belt to the truck, and just really a slick operation. They do this, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a day. It's running 24/7, and they have these packages come, fill the trucks up, and then the drivers go on and drive the vehicles to the site, the last mile.
I'm going to say really quickly to remind people out there, if you have a small trucking company or even a mid-sized one, it's important to remember that often, making these kind of decisions as UPS has improves the quality of life for everyone in the community, and in doing so, makes you a better neighbor. People are often inclined to be much more amenable to working with you as an, on-site company if they know you're actually taking care of them and their families. I wanted to ask you, by the way, because you keep hitting on it because you were with them. The drivers. Can we talk a little bit about how the drivers were kind of reacting to this new equipment? How they were reacting to the fleet upgrades and all that. Tell us a bit about what it means to run on natural gas, but then tell us how the drivers are kind of working with that.
Yeah, well, let me start with the drivers, and then I can say a little bit more about natural gas. But let me actually say that one of the neat things about being on the NACFE team is we were able to go out and go to the site. We talked and interviewed so many people. We talked to the drivers, we talked to the staff, the people doing the planning. We talked to the fuel provider. Kenworth was out there, so we talked to them. It's just a great experience. Excuse me, to talk to everyone. The drivers that we spoke to just love the X15N and the Kenworth T680. I think one of the things to start with is if the X15N has been designed to feel exactly like a diesel, and that's what we heard from the drivers. They can take any kind of mountain and get just as good a performance with that natural gas truck as what they can with a diesel truck. The other thing is. The driver described that vehicle as just being very smooth suspension, less noise. Of course, you don't come home smelling like diesel fuel. Natural gas is odorless. So the drivers were just big fans of that engine and also the technology on the truck. There's a lot of ADAS type equipment and safety equipment that they like. So they are believers of this technology and quite advocates of it.
So let's kind of now pivot in that way to kind of talk about what you expect to see. I mean, you've been with them, but this big roll is coming up. Like I said, I was saying roll on less, and the reason I said that instead of run on less, I was listening to Roll On 18 Wheels Roll On this morning. But when we get to where the rubber meets the road in September, what are you expecting to see based on what you've already seen?
I think for me, the big deal will be the dashboard. And what I mean, and if you want to go back and look at this, you can see previous dashboards that we've had. But as I mentioned, we've got 4 different types of powertrains. We've got 13 different trucks running those 4 different powertrains, and we're going to be monitoring them. We have telematics on these vehicles, mainly geotab, and we're monitoring key parameters like vehicle speed, mile per gallon. If it's an electric vehicle, we'll monitor kilowatt hours per mile. All performance indicators we'll be able to see. We've got a person who does our IT, and he builds just a beautiful dashboard that you can compare each of these different trucks and how they're performing. You can also see some stuff like the routes that they're on, how many miles per day they're running, and those types of things. And then we'll of course, be releasing information as well as we go through it. But NACFE is a nonprofit organization. We're unbiased. We just want to help industry get a good feel for what are these different technologies, what are their strengths, what are some of the challenges. And you'll see all of that kind of stuff as these trucks are in real world duty cycle applications. They're not running on a test track or anything like that. They're hauling freight in their everyday work. And it's just really exciting to see that.
Do me a favor. We have to wrap this up really quickly, but promise me that you'll come back and have a longer conversation because like I said,
Would love to.
this is one of those great moments where we're taking the culture of a company, combining it with new technology, and then being able to see how the data kind of shakes out as well. And one more time, guys, go to runonless.com. You can actually go /participants and find all those amazing profiles, by the way. Let's get some, let's get a little bit of mess out of the middle, and we'll figure out what's going to go on over the next couple of months. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you, brother.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Guys, you can go to NACFE